Hey, how's it going, guys? I have another Marvel Legends review for you here. And honestly, I can't believe I have this one. This is a character that um, has been on my list for Most Wanted for a very long time. And so it's very awesome to finally have him. So today we are reviewing the Marvel Studios X-Men 97 Marvel Legends Cable. Here is the packaging. You got the picture of Cable in 97. On the back, you got that. A little picture of the action figure. So far, I have 2 out of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I want. I still want more Emma Frost and Sunspot. Most wanted is probably Emma Frost out of those last 3, but man, it's just so good to have Cable. And honestly, it's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that like they're doing waves for X-Men 97, because they're pretty much just comic designs with a little bit of stylization, and they're of character. A lot of them are of characters that I have been wanting for a very long time. So let's get this guy in front of you here. So here he is, but let's get into his accessories. So out of the package, he comes with a kind of resting hand here and a fist. And then he comes with 2 trigger finger hands. And that is because he comes with a smaller, obviously, sci-fi blaster. But the one that obviously I think I will be posing him with, and what probably most people are posing him with, is this big old one with some very nice designs on both of them. I'll bring the other one back in here. You know, obviously sci-fi, so there's not really any realism to him. But he also comes with 2 little, I mean, they're obviously repainted Iron Man like repulsor effects, but both of them actually have ports, so you can put, see, so you can put these blast effects into the weapons, which is awesome. There's no storage for the weapons though. And while I'm okay with the big one not having storage, I would have liked if there was some storage for the small one. But then again, I don't remember where he stored it in the show, so I don't know. But let's take a closer look at him. So here he is. And that's definitely Cable. That is an excellent head sculpt. I know some people wanted the eye effect, and I get that. For me, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I definitely get where people are coming from. Obviously, this is based off his comic book look back in the day. But to me, it's just Cable. I'm just so happy to have Cable. You got some excellent design with all of this is sculpted. You see all this line work, the X, the little communicator there, some sculpting into the robotic arm. Pouches here, wrinkles, all sorts of stuff. Many different pouches. I'm trying to think if there was another thing that people wanted. There's one other thing that I know people have been commenting on, but we'll get into that when we get into articulation. But no, it's just awesome to have Cable. I mean, I don't think I need to explain like what my connection is to him. He's I've known him for a long time. Obviously, to me, he's kind of an essential X-Men character, so he's been on the top of my list. Like, I was kind of upset that I didn't get the there was just a recent one that they released that's kind of based off the Marvel vs. Capcom look. I can't remember what Build-A-Figure that wave was, but it wasn't Void. I don't remember now, but there was that one. A lot of people liked that one, and I never saw it, so I never got it, but I got this guy, so I'm really happy, really happy. So, but speaking of articulation, let's get into articulation. Now he has a dumbbell joint up at the head, but it allows him to, because I think there's one, is there one at the neck? Yes, there's one at the neck too. So it allows him to look that far up, that far down, look side to side, although it does run into this little collar piece a little bit, and of course has great tilt. Now this is where I know some people have problems, and I can kind of agree. These pieces here are not like, okay, they flex like the tiniest bit, but so when you go up, it's not the problem, but if you're trying to go forward or back, that's the problem. So that's the only problem. Up is not a problem. Back and forth is. But as you saw, the arms do go out. There's a bicep swivel and a double jointed elbow, and a wrist swivel and a hinge in and out. And if it's and the trigger fingers do have an up and down. He's got a diaphragm joint that allows him to go that far back, that far forward, and does twist a little. He does also have a waist joint there that the belt hides. The legs kick out that far, kick back that far, kick to the side about there. Got an upper thigh joint hidden well by these pouches. Double jointed knees. He doesn't have any boot swivel, but his ankle goes down, it goes up, and ankle pivot. So like I said, I do know that point of articulation up here at the shoulder is one that some people have been upset with, and I definitely understand. I kind of agree because it can be kind of frustrating. But I will say this guy does pose nicely, and I'll get him into a pose here at the end of the video for you guys. But I think it's time to put some comparisons here. Now, I'm not going to pull out the whole roster of the X-Men, but there's a few important people. So I figured I'd put him next to Cyclops, his dad, and technically his mother. Obviously, we know the reasons why it's technically Jean Grey. I have her all posed up, and I just don't feel like putting her in a neutral position. And then, because she's a part of the same wave, and they're all part of the X-Men, let's see if I can get Jubilee standing. Doesn't seem to stand all that well. Sure, like that. Obviously, she's very small in comparison to Cable. But, yeah. It's just awesome to have a character that I consider essential. Just like with Jubilee, the Jubilee and Cable have been on my list for a long time because I consider them one of my top, X-Men. Like, there's a core set of X-Men, and there's still some that I am missing that I consider core. Right now, that would be Kitty Pryde, Beast, Colossus. Trying to think if there's any others. Oh, and Professor Xavier. And I guess, Emma Frost would also be one that I would consider. Now there is a Beast coming out. I think it's is it Astonishing X-Men Beast? I'm debating whether I want him or not. Because it's not my favorite version of Beast. It's not a bad version. I want to make that very clear. It's a really cool look. It's just that it's not what I picture when I picture Beast. That's all. So I'm debating. But of course, I also love X-Men, so I don't know. I guess you guys will see when that comes out. So, but let me get you into a pose here. See if I can get into a cool pose here. Well, the way the angle is working is not necessarily working to my benefit, but he does pose up nicely. Like, you know, the main thing is obviously, does he look good firing his gun? And he does. So I think that works. If you're wondering about getting him in kind of a relaxed pose, right? Maybe you don't want him guns blazing, but you still want the big gun in his hand. You can. It's just it's very subtle. This is like the best pose I've gotten for like a relaxed pose. So I've not tried if kneeling him down. You could get him to dual wield if you put the other trigger finger hand. But there's not really a to me, I don't know if I mean it can look cool, but it's not my preferred look. So, but anyways, that about wraps it up. I'm just super excited to have another character off the list, man, and it's just really awesome to have him. I hope that we continue getting 97 waves, especially with 97 season 2 hopefully coming out relatively soon. I hope they do that version of Beast. There's a few background characters that they do, but we haven't gotten a Bastion, we haven't gotten a Sinister. Trying to think if there's any others. I guess technically we haven't gotten an Xavier, but I don't know how you're gonna do that with the style of packaging. But they've done 2-packs now, so maybe they'll just do that. Yeah, and I guess it all depends on what characters they introduce in season 3 that they could that Hasbro could decide to do. So, you know, for all we know, they could throw in Rachel Summers in there, and all of a sudden, okay, that's who we're gonna get. I doubt it, but and there is a Rachel Summers coming out, but that's beside the point. You know, for all I know, they could use this as an excuse to do some of the other heroes that showed up, like the cameos of like Daredevil and Cloak and Dagger. So who knows? Who knows? So, but I do hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the figure, and are you excited for the new season of X-Men 97? I personally can't wait. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.